The race it has started, um, and yeah, just the time for the runners for the stream to start. So Beramondo probably first, then Zoff second, and KTH and Mimudidi I don't know yet. We are going to see how well it does for them, because they've been learning a lot of the run, but they haven't submitted a time yet. So either they are waiting for them to have a very, very good time, or maybe they haven't practiced the entirety of the game. So we are going to see what's going to happen. But here we go. First world at the end. We can see already all the mechanics into play. So Ash, the main character, is jumping and grabbing the ledges, and that's pretty much it. You have that downward button or R2 that tells you to grab the ledges and to fall faster, but yeah, that's it. So you have to make your way into through the game as fast as possible, obviously in a speedrun, but also dying obviously is going to happen a lot in that game. Like Super Meat Boy, you might end up with, like, I don't know, 200 deaths or so, and that's a lot of time loss, and you have to be very wary of not tilting when that happens to you. Dying in chain can really throw you off. Except for that, nothing very too much to be said. We see a lot of faster strats on Zoff and Beramondo's screen that do pretty much exactly the same thing. Beramondo is just barely ahead, and so far it's pretty simple. Lots of jumping, lots of crumbling blocks, lots of places to just pay attention where you're jumping, and once you know how to pass the screens, it's pretty easy to do so. The issue usually is to go fast and trying to do it consistently. We get to the second world in less than 2 minutes for Beramondo. Very nice first section of the game. The world, it's pretty much the same thing, but like a different look, a different music, and usually there is like a few gimmicks here and there. Just you can see on that specific world, Beramondo taking his first death here. Once again, you see that they are not costly. Just the only problem with dying in the end is that you are going to die a lot, so it adds up at the end. A long screen for Beramondo. Zoff catches up. Mimudidi and KTH not too far behind so far, already on second world also. And it's pretty easy to follow at the run. You have the number of the level on the bottom right corner, so you can see Beramondo is on hard flat 7, and Zoff is on hard flat 7 also now, as we are just waiting for them to sync up. And yeah, so you can see the difference between the runners. It's pretty easy to tell who's first. And very scary strat here for Beramondo that works on the first try. Zoff does the same thing. It's very, very close between those two runners. Zoff taking a few silly deaths, but nothing too major. And yeah, we are probably going to see KTH and Mimudidi as PBs today, just because they have learned the game. So they are not experienced enough to have a complete runs yet, but they will be able to beat the game in less than 30 minutes. I hope this is the goal for that game during the UD. If you want to be competitive, the competitive tournaments have like a very strict time limit for each game, and if you don't beat the game in time, you just don't gain anything for that game. So it's going to be very tense on some games, and on the end of this night, I hope it's not going to be too bad. Zoff taking a little shortcut here, ahead of Beramondo now. I didn't know about that shortcut, and that's very nice. The game, once again, is open. You don't have level selection screens, so it has a lot of secrets, and the secrets allows you usually to come back to the main levels, and when you do so, it may be at a cool place for you to continue your run, as we've just seen there. This is just like good routing from Beramondo and Zoff. Zoff gets to overflow the third world of the game first, followed closely by Beramondo, and next we have Mimudidi and KTH. So we encounter for the first time the water levels. Water is going to be present in a lot of levels in the Andes Night. This is nice water, clean water that doesn't kill you. Later in the game, the water is going to kill you after you spend 2.5 seconds in it. So here we go. This is the end of clean water. Now all the water is going to be dirty like that, toxic, polluted, and you don't want to spend too much time in it, as we've seen just Zoff doing right now. Water has a cool mechanic where if you grab a ledge and jump from that ledge into the water, you are going to keep your momentum going for that water section. So it allows for faster swimming, faster movement in water. It's pretty nice. It's easy to understand, hard to master, because usually finding the correct ledge to jump from into the water needs like very good movement. KTH code back with Bermundo ends off on Overflow 3 right now, and Mumijidi is struggling just a little bit in the flat arts on the art flats on that secret section. Usually in the game, if you do those secrets, it's to grab some cartridge that unlock levels, hidden levels. Here we do not want the cartridge, we just want to get to the level just through the game as fast as possible. Nothing has to be collected. You can see on the top left corner of the game, you have the thermal count. Those are extra lives for the later sections of the game that we are not going to do, so you do not need them. You do not need anything. So pretty much grabbing something is either because it's on the correct way, on the faster way, or like that's it. It's the only or mistake, obviously, but that's the only reason you would grab such items. We get to the split. Bermundo first, Zoff second. Very close race so far. The split is a hub where we are going to come back to multiple times, because here the game divides in 3 choices, and we have to go through all the 3 choices to grab all the parts of our friends. 3 choices in the split, 3 parts of friends. We get it's pretty easy to understand where it goes there. So first we go up on the split to the Wall of Sorrow, which is probably regarded of like one of the hardest world of the game, because it's pretty long. It has like tough sections and those some very like precise jumping all through the world. So it is probably the part where all the beginners are going to struggle. That's why usually it goes first in a speedrun, because you want, if you are grinding, to put the harder part of the levels earlier. And it is followed by Exodus, and Exodus is pretty tough also. So it's just 2 very tough world right off the bat, and then it's going to get easier from that. The worst enemies in the game, the flying birds, very nice strat from Zoff and from Bermundo. They both did pretty much the same thing. Zoff did not succeed so well, but Bermundo went very fast. Those birds are terrible. They will kill you, and you want to manipulate them to ride on their head. They do not kill you if you jump on top of them, but everything else will kill you, and sometimes it can be weird if they kill you or not. But yeah, it went very well. Once again, Bermundo with the bird riding here, very nicely done. And now he is about 2 levels ahead of Zoff. So yeah, that's what a good level does to you in the Andes Night. KTH at the start of Wall of Sorrow, and Mumijidi at the end of Overflow, at the half of Overflow, my bad. Yeah, birds are like every game, like think Ninja Gaiden or any classical game, like you don't want birds in your game, and thankfully that's it for the birds. For Zoff and Bermundo, we've seen the worst of them, and we've seen all of them also. So you will notice a lot of precise ledge grabs. If you do, you can grab on top on the ledge where there are spikes on top, but it is pretty easy to die. The game is very precise in its movement, but yeah, sometimes it's not going to work so well for you if you are unlucky, or if you are just barely not precise enough. And we get to Exodus, flying ship that reminds me a lot of Super Mario Bros. 3 Final World. And we can see Bermundo trying or succeeding at a lot of precise movement optimization. Grabbing a ledge will go faster than just straight up jumping. So if you have the choice, you want to do some ledge grabs as much as you can. It will save about a tenth or 2/10 of a second if done correctly, and that adds up because you have so many jump in the end deny, obviously. On Bermundo's screen, very precise jump here. He goes for it, fails the first time, and does not go for it the second time. Too bad. He will. Exodus has a lot of scary room, very fast-moving blocks, fast-moving spikes that are going to try to kill you. But Bermundo has nice 2 levels lead. On Exodus 11 here, there's like the craziest strat of the game, but obviously Bermundo is not going for it, just beating the level as intended, I would say. And then getting stuck here, you can see the end levels design is all about lots of moving objects, and you have to register what's going to kill you and what you can ignore, pretty much. So it's all about filtering information. Bermundo dying on that gun, dying again on those spikes. He has to be careful because Zoff is catching up. He's dying again, and I've seen like that. I leave that once you start dying, you might die way too much, and Zoff passes Bermundo right on that screen. Exodus 14, sorry. And KTH and Mumididi are making their ways through the Wall of Sorrow. KTH on Wall of Sorrow, almost done with Wall of Sorrow. And as Bermundo ends off on the same screen in Exodus, almost done with that world already. The game goes very, very fast. The any person goes through 9 worlds in about 18 minutes. So that's 2 minutes per world. And the worlds are pretty long. A very nice strat by Bermundo on that screen. As we're all going to see Zoff not doing the same thing, going slower, trying not to die. It's everything moves so fast in the end this night, it's pretty easy to get crushed or caught by anything, pretty much a bullet, a moving object, cannon shell. And Bermundo first grabbing the head of his friend, going to the map as fast as possible and getting to the split to get to the second pass. He's going to Retrograde. A nice looking place with I don't know what the theme is here, but it's lots of precise jump, precise movement, and a lot of those done world levels here, having to wait here. I don't think there is a way to do that in one cycle. Sometimes you are going to have the optimal jumping, just optimal time, just because it's cycle based. That happens a lot in the end design. It's purple, yeah, pretty much. Retrograde is just it reminds me a lot of the Arid Flats, pretty much. A lot of those crumbling blocks also. Bermundo bunking his head here, dying. And failing a jump again on this level can be pretty long, and you don't want to fail again and again in those levels because, yeah, it's how you lose races, pretty much. And yeah, the soundtrack is very good for the End's Night. Very nice level from Bermundo. It's all remixes by Retrograde from like classical theme, classical music, and a lot of Simpsons and lots of Mozart, pretty much. It's pretty nice, pretty enjoyable, and from time to time, like right now, Mozart does not really fit the theme of the game, and it's that difference that does work. I feel like the game is all about the Hearst has died and everything is awful, and the game can be a good, like, a light note on that game. Bermundo making still good progress, but Zoff 2 levels behind only, and the levels once again are very short. One level is just one screen, but Bermundo gets first to the machine, as the machine is certainly the most reset heavy world. It is all about like mechanical object, the conveyors, the moving like blinking platforms as we can see here, and a lot of keys that you have to collect and come back, backtrack to the door, and those tedious, I don't know what those are, like it's like the orbs that repels you in the Raptor and Super Meat Boy. It's finicky objects that changes the way your platforming behaves. Here it's like almost like you're in water, but not exactly, and it can throw you off pretty strong. Yeah, once again, as Incest pointed out in chat, those runners had only 5 days to practice through the game, and it's very good. Oh, Bermondo catching a bullet with his head, falling too fast here, sadly dying, having to restart here. He lost a lot of time in the Machine 5. He's going to high five Zoff on the way back here. And here he has to backtrack to where the door was locked now that he collected the key. We can see the death counter, by the way, for Zoff on the bottom left corner. I just noticed only 25 deaths so far, pretty good. KTH just starting a retrograde as MumuGD starts Exodus. Retrograde, once again, you have to know exactly how to go through those levels, but yeah, pretty strong performance from Bermundo and Zoff. Very hard to catch up for MumuGD and KTH. Bermundo trying not to suffocate in that toxic gas that you can see all over the machine. Being careful with those jumps, the long conveyors, you won't jump on them. And there's the machine 10, no way to go faster than waiting for those enemies to... Oh no! And Bermundo loses track of his jumps and falls to the ground, having to wait, giving more time for Zoff to catch up. This is very close. So here you have two choices. On the left is the key, on the right is the door. So first we get to the key. You can see on Bermundo's screen, bottom right corner, still first on the trace. Having to, dodge those bullets very carefully. We're going to have another high five here. Hey guys, just picking the transition at the same time. And Bermundo will get to the door as Zoff gets to the key. This is one of those levels, the Machine 13 here, where you'd have to wait anyway for the cube to fall down and go back up. So no reason to take any risk here. And so the best time for the Andy's Night on the UD6 so far is 20:34 by Brother Main. I do expect the runners to go for sub 20 pretty fast. So we'll see what's going to happen during the entirety of the event. Bermundo dodging those blocks, those enemies we see for the first time. We are going to see way more of them in Golgotha. And still Zoff pretty not so far behind, just a level or two. Bermundo probably on one of the worst screen of the game, dying here. This is like pretty precise. You have to be careful not to take a bullet to the head, while also understanding the platforming you have to go for. Silly death here for Bermundo, giving some more time for Zoff to catch up. And KTH is on the machine also, so KTH making good work. And MumuGD at the first half, at the end of the first half of Exodus, and Bermundo gets the heart of his friend first. Zoff is going to make it like very soon and get to the Holo. Probably one of the easiest world of the game, I'd say. It's a lot of puzzly elements, and once you, because it's all dark and it's hard to see where you have to go, but the platforming is not too bad, so should be a nice moment after the machine for Bermundo and Zoff. You have to know the cycles here, obviously. Dodging everything that moves kills you, everything that is spiky kills you, and you can like bounce on skulls and stuff. Bermundo going for faster strat here, dying again. It's once again, it's not because like a level or world is easier that you are not going to die. You are going to die a lot when you're speedrunning the end design, but at the end the game has nice flow to it. It runs very smoothly, and the best speedruns of that games are very nice to watch. So I do recommend to go to the speedrun.com page and watch the world record of that category or the any percent if you have time and want to see what's like to finish that game in less than 19 minutes. Bermundo making good progress in the hollows. This is the 8th world of that speedrun. Zoff once again not too far behind. Bermundo dying twice here at the end of the level. There are like all the levels aren't created equals, and there are some very long levels compared to the others. And getting to Golgotha, the 9th world, the final world of the category today. Very red, very bright, very tough for the eyes, and yeah, the runners have to focus on their jumping. This is a lot of precise platforming and some enemy manipulation. And Bermundo having trouble catching the little ledge here, going for the faster strats. He knows a lot of the UD runners have started right away learning a lot of very aggressive strats, very tough strats, just because they knew they could make it. And I do not blame them, because learning easier strats and then go for later learning and the best strats can be a bit tedious. So going right away for the best movement is probably the right idea for the NGS9. It's not too hard of a game, I feel, so it's maybe even like one of the easiest of the UD6 selection, depending on your affinities with platformers. And Zoff, yeah, Zoff Death Counter is pretty cool, pretty fits the team nicely. I think it's Live Split, the module for the auto splitter that gives you your death counter also. So that's a very nice layout. Zoff is pretty friendly. If you ask him, he will. I'm pretty sure he will share if he wants to his layouts with you. Bermundo encountering those crazy blocks that try to crush you in a straight line as soon as you pass them. Having a good manipulation here to beat that final level. And then, yeah, it's almost done for Bermundo. Get ready for the time, because a friend is almost complete. We just need his body. And yeah, Golgotha 20 is the final level on that world. Getting the body of the friend, going back to his home and getting it all stitched together. And yeah, that's done for Bermundo. 23:32, very nice run. His PB is like 31 seconds behind world record, not world record, his PB, sorry. And yeah, it worked very well. Let me switch the audio to Zoff. And very nice run. Zoff is almost done, also Golgotha 12, but the Olos and Golgotha went super well for Bermundo compared to Zoff. They were very close to each other for the longest time during the run, and the end of the run went pretty bad for Zoff. Zoff manipulating the enemy here Very nice. And we see the gimmick for the end of the run. Zoff manipulating those cubes. But yeah, very nice run, Berramondo. Very, very well done. I will check if he was how well the other runners for the race did, because we had Brother Main, Devil Tifa, and Toru that also beat the game in before the 25-minute mark. The UD is a pretty big event, and we have a lot of runners for each race, and we cannot feature everyone on stream. So yeah, we do have to make a choice. I try to have like a lot of different runners showed off every time, featured every time. But yeah, Zoff is already done. 25-24, very nice run. Too bad he was like very close to Berramondo for the longest time, and yeah, it just didn't work at the end. But very nice run, very nice race. Congrats to all the runners. And KTH in the Olos. On that one screen, the Olos 14 was troublesome for both Zoff and Berramondo, and KTH gets to Golgotha. Pretty close race. This is probably sub 30 for KTH. Sadly, he did not. His timer did not work properly. Don't know why. I have to check out with all the runners if their auto splitter works, because we do go with in-game time for loadless time for the N9, because it has a lot of very tiny loads between each level and at each death. So the most accurate way to time the runs is using life split that automatically removes all the loads. The in-game time in the game apparently is quite inconsistent, so I do hope everything works properly for all the runners. KTH, once again, I don't remember his PB. I will not remember if he has submitted one in the UD Championship. Mumididi gets to the second part in the split, the Retrograde. So Mumididi did learn like a lot of the early third of the run, the first 3 worlds, and apparently has like has still a bit of learning to do on Retrograde, the Machine, and maybe also Holo and Golgotha. We'll see how it goes for him. KTH is 2630 PB apparently. Yeah, he's 7th on the UD leaderboard. So nice run, but he could have like caught up to Zoff at the end, but had like some troubles right in the beginning, and did not do so well in World 4 and 5. I have trouble remembering all the names. The Wall of Sorrow and Exodus. That's it. I will get better at commentating the MGs9, remembering all the different strat for each different level. But it is a long run to learn. I feel personally I've only played through the game, but never like learn any proper strats. But since every level is so short, it's pretty easy to figure out not the best strat necessarily, but a decent strat to go through the levels quickly. And KTH gets to the head of the body of his friend fast, and builds his body all together, and time for him also very nice run. I will check out his exact time. He got 29 on the dot, so yeah, pretty far behind his PB, 2 minutes and 30 seconds behind his PB, sadly. So did not go so well for him, I guess.
Just remember all of the great times we had.
And I'll switch the audio to Mumididi to just get a good get the correct audio to follow the end of this race. But yeah, no problem, KTH, you're good. It's okay. The timer sometimes doesn't start properly. I don't know why. I think you have to start live split after you start the game. I don't remember exactly what the procedure is like. I did have some troubles recently with the audio splitter also. And yeah, so back to Retrograde. And we are going to see some easier strat here, just because MoveDD is not so experienced of a runner. The faster strat we've seen the other runners was to grab on the left ledge and to wall jump on top of that pillar as soon as it appeared. Yeah, there are like a few, like even lots of very fast strats, very nice looking strats. And it's all about being able to go through them. And yeah, nobody is probably going to take his time to beat the game, but it's already been like 32 minutes. The game does time by in-game time, so real time has been 32 minutes. His timer is probably more like at 29 or 30 minutes. This level you have to manipulate and wait for the I don't know, the building to fall down. I don't know exactly what the simplest looks aesthetic tries to represent here, but certainly the hearse has died and everything is terrible. Making everything crumble. Trying to grab that ledge, barely not making it. Oh, sadly does not grab the ledge once again. And yeah, so the Thursday races, as usual, are just for fun, except probably for next Thursday we are going to have in the UD, like this is we are just before the competitive first competitive tourney starting 14th of July, so we are going to have a team tournament. The team tournament, it's going to be pretty fun. So each team is going to be 5 runners. Each runner is going to have to go for exactly 2 games, and on Sunday, Thursday, Saturday, the next Sunday, and the next Thursday, we are going to have 1 race. So each runner of each team is going to have to join 2 different races, so on 2 different games then, and they are going to have to do as well they can. The catch is the runners don't know yet what games are going to feature and when, so they are going to have to plan as soon as they know for each game. But the strategic aspect is that if you do know very, very well, like 1 or 2 games, you're the best on, say, the Andes Night, when do you stop waiting for the Andes Night? What gamble do you take? Do you think like, yeah, okay, the Andes Night is going to happen next race or next race, and it's going to be pretty cool to see how well the runners do. It's all for fun, obviously, but we're going to try to follow the best teams on speed gaming throughout the week, the 2 weeks that. Yeah, some races are going to be pretty short and some races are going to be pretty long. So it's going to be pretty fun to see how well the teams does. We have so far, if I recall correctly, at least 6 or 7 full teams. So it's going to be pretty nice to see. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 full teams and 2 teams that are just waiting for a few names. So we are probably going to end up at maybe 10 teams. That would be pretty sweet. And the machine is, yeah, probably one of the worst world for that game. But yeah, like this is all extra time for MimBDG just to show off a little bit how he's learning. I'm probably going to call to end the stream when he's done with the machine. So thanks a lot for like having being there, following the race. If you are interested in joining the UD or just learning one or two games, please do join the Discord, the UD Discord. It is a pretty fun way to learn, to get into speedrunning certain games. So it is all about like community building and having fun speedrunning. So you have all the infos in !UD. Every Saturday we are doing commentary on more competitive tournaments with Mythical. On this Saturday we are going to have 2 races back to back of the Andes Nye. It's going to be once again for fun, but it's going to be the last Saturday tournament just for fun, because on the 14th of July we are going to have our first competitive tournament. The goal of the UD, if you are in the competitive aspect, is to get invited to France and play live for the grand finals. The grand finals are going to be between the best 4 runners, and as we see, MimDD is struggling just a little bit here, and the best 4 runners are going to qualify through monthly tournaments. So you have a shot at it during July, a shot at it during August, and the last shot during September. So everybody is going to be invited for the first turn on the 14th of July. And then the best 8 are going to qualify for the second turn, and for the final we are going to have the best 4, and the top 2 of the final qualify for the grand finals. So it's going to be pretty cool to see how well the runners do. Obviously it's going to be on the 10 games in a row, so you cannot you have to be good at the 10 game. You cannot just pass one and hope it doesn't work for you. You have my expectation is that if you do fail a game, you are not going to make it to the next turn. So it's going to be pretty cool. The 10 game, if you don't know, are Shovel Knight, Cuphead, A Story About My Uncle, Spectrable, Metal Slug, Inertia, Castlevania Eye of Sorrow, Donkey Kong Country, Trials 2, and The End is Nigh. So yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how well the runners do when the games are all put together in a single tournament. And I'm pretty excited to see how well the runners do. And yeah, one very tough. All the levels on the machine are pretty tough in MimDD. Not having probably learned enough of the game yet. He's struggling just a little bit, remembering what he has to do. You can see on each screen he has a couple of deaths. It's just him wondering, what am I supposed to do here? And then remembering what he has to do, and then comes back to it. And yeah, pretty nice though. Anyway, that's going to be it for us on Speed Gaming 2 today. On Speed Gaming, you have obviously the ! schedule if you would like to follow what's next. So the schedule is a little bit emptier this week, probably because there are some other things happening in the speedrunning world, but obviously still a lot of LTTP randomizer and the Zelda 2 randomizer weekly race at 11 p.m. on Speed Gaming 3. That's EDT for you. And obviously a lot of more runs. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze that was happening just earlier on Speed Gaming 2 is continuing tomorrow at 3 p.m. So yeah, the schedule still continues, and obviously if you haven't yet, go say hello in the SGDQ chat. if you want to follow the runners, I do encourage you to go to the ultimedecathlon.com /en/live, where all the runners that are streaming are featured. So you can. It's the best way to find some new runners that you don't know that are learning one of the 10 games. It's pretty cool. And yeah, we'll be there on Saturday at 11 a.m. the morning stream. Grab a coffee and a croissant and come to Speed Gaming to follow 2 races of the Indies Night, and obviously be there on the 14th of July, where it's all going to start for proper. It's been a pleasure to do commentary for that race. MumuDD is probably going to keep going on the Indies Night for about 10 to 20 minutes beating the game. I do hope he does beat his PB. And yeah, I will see you next time.